Okay, we got a Funhouse here that, quote, does nothing. So let's turn it on. It's on. You can see no playfield lights. Nothing up here either, but we've got LEDs up here. Let's just check the 5 volts. So I go to this TP2 test point right here, and helps if we have our meter set to DC volts. That always helps. And we have 0.58 volts, so less than 1 volt. I did check the fuses over here. These are all the input fuses. They were all good. It's probably a connector issue, or our bridge rectifier maybe went open. Hard to say, but we're going to just try reseating a couple little connectors here, just see if we get any sort of changes. Over here too, see if anything changes. I don't see anything changing. Let's just check it though. No, we're still at the same spot. So it doesn't look like it's a connector issue. Take the board out and take a look, see what we can find. Have the driver board out. This bridge right here, BR2, is what's responsible for developing the 5 volts. You can see it's on that huge heatsink. What you do is flip the board over. It's right here, and we're going to test it using the meter set to diode function. Okay, so these are the 4 leads of the bridge. The one that's indented is the positive out. So you've got AC, these 2 leads coming in, and then the bridge, which is 4 diodes, rectifies that to DC. So you get this one is negative and this one is positive. This indented one is always the positive. So we're going to test it. It seems kind of backwards, but you put your meter on diode setting and the negative lead on the positive end of the bridge, and then over here and should get between 0.4 and 0.6, which we get on that lead. Then you go over here to the other AC lead, you should get the same value, 0.4 to 0.6, which we get. Then you come down to here, this is the negative lead, and again it seems backwards, but you put the red on there, and then you test up here, 0.4 to 0.6. Look right here, it's open, so I'm getting nothing on this one. So the bridge is open. That's why there's no 5 volts. So the bridges can fail a couple ways, but one way is if a diode inside that package fails and it just goes open like this. See, I should get that value, and again up here this checks out and this checks out. Oops. Yep. But this one value does not, so the bridge is bad for sure, and that's why we're not getting 5 volts. To get the bridge out, I'm going to use some simple desoldering tools. I'm not going to use anything fancy, but the first thing I want to do is I want to add some new solder to the bridge. I know that sounds stupid, I'm trying to desolder it, but I'm adding new solder. The reason you add new solder is to help disperse the heat when you heat the joints up, and actually adding the new solder helps you desolder. I'm just using a $5 solder to put it. Now the trick to doing this is you want to make sure that the leads are free and clear, because you don't want to, when you pull the bridge, wreck the plated through holes. So they look pretty good. Actually, they look really good. They came out really clean. Look at that. You can see that there's no solder around the holes. And then what I do is I take a flathead screwdriver and I just push them into the center off the wall. You know, they kind of get stuck here. You'll hear it. You'll hear it release. Did you hear that click? That was it releasing from the wall. So I want to do that on all 4 of these, just to get them. It's hard to do one-handed. Just to get them released, and then I can easily. This thing will just fall out. So here's the top side. Now, no trickery here. All I did was release them with my little screwdriver, and look, the bridge comes out by hand. Okay? And if you look at the legs, there is no like copper. Sometimes you can see when you pull them out, you know, it'll actually take the plated through holes out with it. You don't want that. You want it to come out clean like this. And again, I'm just using simple soldering tools and desoldering tools. This is like a $6 desoldering pump, and that's a Weller $15 Home Depot soldering iron. I mean, I'm not using expensive stuff. You can still do good repairs. Okay, the new bridge is placed in there. I have to bolt it to the heat sink, which it is, but don't solder it until you have both screws tightened. And then you can solder around here. Now, since this came out clean without any damage, it shouldn't be any issues. If you took a plated through hole out by accident, you would probably have to run jumpers over to this capacitor leads over here. This is really common to run this indented plus lead over to the plus lead of this cap, and then the diagonal negative lead from the bridge over to the minus lead of the cap. That's real common because the bridges have their traces on the other side of the board, so the plated through holes are kind of needed because you're soldering on this side, if that makes any sense. So a lot of times you'll see jumpers here. Good idea, but in this case it came out cleanly, so we don't need to do that. The new bridge in and soldered in. Now we're going to do some tests. Remember, this is the negative lead, so diode setting on my meter, red lead to the negative lead of the bridge. This was the value we were missing before. Remember, I told you it would be between 0.4 and 0.6, and we're getting nothing. So there it is at 0.5. Check this one over here. 0.5. Go up here. This is the positive lead, so the black goes to that. And then again, you put the this on the red one on the two ACs, and 0.4 to 0.6, which we are getting. So no problem. But that's not the only test you need to do. Then you set your meter to continuity buzz. And again, the plated through holes get damaged real easy on this. So you can see there's this tiny little trace right here. I want you to go over here, and then we got to back this up a little bit. You have to test over here on the diodes. You want to get buzz tone on the AC leads over here. Let's see if I can get this so you can see it. Here to here, and then this one to this one here. Make sure you have those, that buzz tone, okay? So basically what I'm doing here is I'm testing between here, and then if you follow it over here to there, to this top one right there, the second one down. And then the other AC lead right there is going to there. And a lot of times, if the plated through holes get busted, it won't make continuity to this side of the board, and then weird stuff will happen, like your GI won't dim, you know, because the triacs used computer controlled dimming, stuff like that, and other weird things will happen. Also, while you're at it, not a bad idea to check the continuity from the positive over to here. This is the rectifying capacitor, and the negative over to here. Okay, again, it's real common for people to make these mistakes when they're replacing this BR2 bridge, and they're just hack it up. I've seen it happen so many times. I'm just telling you what to look for, what to try and to avoid, and how to fix it. Like if you have a trace that's blown, you're going to have to run a jumper wire. There really isn't any other way around it. If you break a trace, you break a trace. You know, so be it. It's not impossible to fix. It just looks ugly. So we just want the board to look as good as we can when you get done with it. You know, we don't want you to do hack repairs. We want you to do nice, clean repairs. The board in the game, you can see it's in attract mode. You can see all the lights are on. Let's check the 5 volts. Let's go up here to TP2. Right there. And look, we're at 522. That's lovely. That is more than lovely. That's perfect. Now, I should mention, I did replace some other stuff. I replaced this capacitor here. I think this is C4. I always put a 470 microfarad in there instead of the original 100. I replaced the C5 capacitor too. That's the filter capacitor for a BR2 bridge. So we replaced the bridge, the cap, and the cap. Just be really careful again with these plated through holes. Here's the old cap that I took out, and you look at this comes out really hard. This is hard to get out without ruining the holes, the plated through holes. So you just, you know, you can see that these are clean. I didn't take any plated through holes out with them. We are up and running. Let's just take a look here at the score display. Let's see what we got. Yep, you can see she's running nicely now. So here's the original bridge in here. I have it oriented. Right here's the positive, the negative, AC. So this is like it was in the board. I'm putting the red lead on the negative lug, and I should get 0.4 to 0.6, and I get 0.7. It's a little outside, but look at this one. It's completely open. That was the one I was talking about, that it was completely open. Funhouse.